Motivation this morning. And this morning, I want to talk about a topic that, we talk about it, but we don't talk about it for real. And it's don't be so smart because every action has a consequence. And what I mean by that, when we're on this journey of this thing called life, we have to be mindful of the things that we do. We have to be mindful of our environment that we stay around. We have to be mindful of the company that we keep, and we have to be mindful of the people that we trust and we allow into our lives. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I say don't be so smart because every action has a consequence. So don't think that you're so smart that you know it all and then don't want to take no advice from nobody else on particular situations in life, because what we have to realize is that every action in life has a consequence, and some consequences can lead out to be very bad. It could be a consequence that could cause you to lose a lot of things in life. It could be a consequence that could cause you to lose someone you love. So you just have to realize that every action that you take in life has a consequence to it. And when you decide to make a decision and become an action taker in life, you should evaluate the situation before you make the decision. And what I mean by evaluate the situation before you make the decision, I mean that figure out what are the consequences. Say, for instance, if you're trying to build a business. So if you're trying to build a business, you got to figure out what is the consequences of everything that plays a part in you building that business. What do you have to do? What are your requirements? And do you have what it takes to be able to do it? Or do you have you have what it takes to be able to do it, but do you have the mindset at this point in time to be consistent within what you're doing so you can build a successful business? Because so many people start out on a business journey and they seem like it's so easy. And then as soon as they hit roadblocks in the road and they come in consequences and things happen, they give up because they believe that they're not good enough. They believe that they cannot do it. And what you have to realize is that the reason why that happened is because they did not evaluate the consequences and the roadblocks that they would encounter along the way. So therefore, when they hit those roadblocks and when they hit those plateaus and when they hit those obstacles, they were not prepared for them. And that's why I say don't be so smart, because every action has a consequence to it. And you have to know what are your consequences to every action in life that you make on a daily basis. Every decision that you make in life on a daily basis, there's a consequence to it. And you have to be able to evaluate the consequences to what is it gonna be like if I make this decision? Is it gonna give me what I deserve? Is it gonna give me what I'm looking for? Is it gonna give me the lifestyle of fun, freedom, and fulfillment that I deserve? Or is it gonna allow me to go further in debt than what I am? So you have to realize a lot of people make decisions, but they don't think about them. And when you make a decision and you don't think about the consequences of what that decision can encounter and how that decision can affect your life, now it turns out to be something that causes an obstacle in your life because you did not consider the consequences of that decision before you made it. So what I'm saying to you this morning in my morning live wake up motivation is always consider the consequences in every decision that you make in life, because therefore you will know where it's going to lead you. You will know if it's going to lead you to success or failure. You will know what obstacles you have to face along the way based upon what other people went through. So that's why I say don't be so smart to just take action and don't consider the consequences, because every action that you take has a consequence to it. So you should consider the consequences of the actions before you take them. Because if you don't know the consequences of your actions before you take them, you should not take them. You should evaluate every decision that you make in life. Every time you decide to create change in your life, you should consider the consequences. So if I create this change in my life and I start to create a second stream of income on top of what I'm previously doing, what are the consequences? What am I going to have to do? What am I going to have to give up in order to be successful in doing this? And you always have to consider the consequences of every action that you take. Because if you're not considering the consequences of the actions that you take, then you're not preparing yourself for what can happen up ahead after you make this decision, because you did not think about the consequences of the decision. And like I said, if you don't consider the consequences of decisions when you make them, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't lead you to success in that decision that you made or that choice that you made, because you're unprepared. You unprepare yourself for certain situations in life. You don't prepare yourself for what you have to encounter in order to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. You didn't look at how much time it was going to require on your part and how much dedication it was going to require on your part. And now you sit back and tell yourself, man, I can't do that. I don't have enough time to do that. But this is all in your head. If you want to achieve something, you've got to believe that you can. You cannot tell yourself what you cannot do before you try. That's why I say you have to consider the consequences of every decision that you make in life, so you will understand the journey that is taking you down. If you don't understand the journey that you're going on, you don't understand how to be successful in what you're trying to achieve. And the only way you can have a total understanding of the journey that you're going on in this thing called life is that you have to consider every consequence and every decision that you make. Don't never make a decision without considering what are the consequences of this decision after I make it. Now, if you don't understand the definition of consequences, I'm going to tell you. The definition of consequences is the actions that decision can lead up to within you making it. The actions or the obstacles or the roadblocks or the setbacks or whatever you have to endure, that's what the consequences are. But if you don't know what the consequences are of some decisions that you make in life, and if you don't consider what the consequences could be within the decisions that you make in life and within the choices that you take and the road you chose to go down in this thing called life, a lot of times we get ourselves in situations to where we find ourselves bound in a situation. Say, like, for instance, you make a decision to trust somebody. Like, say, for instance, it's somebody you love and you make a decision to trust them, and they tell you, hey, you know what? Trust me, be my wife, be my husband, and I'll make sure that I provide for you and I take care of you and I do all that. And you put all that trust in that person, but you never consider the consequences. You never evaluate that person's past. You never see what type of person that person was before they met you. And you didn't consider the consequences because they hit you with the ooh-hoo, everything sounds good, and you went for it. The okie doke, as they call it. And you went for it. But then when you got in this relationship with this person, now the consequences started to happen. And you realize that this person wasn't really who you thought this person was going to be and was going to give you what they said they was going to give you. And now you're stuck in this situation and you're sitting up here and you're blaming yourself because you didn't consider the consequences. But the thing is, what you have to realize in life, nobody's perfect. A lot of people are fast talkers and a lot of people are smooth talkers, and they can get inside your head and convince you to do things that you don't consider the consequences of, because you love them so much, you trust them so much, you believe in them so much, and now you decide to believe in what they're saying. But then when you find out that there's a different road, there's a different side to life that they're living, and they're totally different from what you pictured them to be, from what they were showing you that they were. And now you're in a situation, and now you believe you cannot get out of that situation. Let me tell you right now, always believe in yourself that you can do more and you can have more, and you will be able to get out of any situation in life that you find yourself faced with when you did not consider the consequences before you before you made those decisions in life. But don't beat yourself up, because we all make mistakes. We just have to learn from our mistakes. We have to let our mistakes be a learning lesson so they can turn into a blessing. If we let our mistakes become a stressing, we'll never receive the blessing. You cannot stress about your mistakes that you make in life. You got to find a way to come up with a corrective solution to the mistake that you made. But you cannot come up with a corrective solution to the mistake that you made if you don't believe in yourself wholeheartedly, in what you're saying, in what you're doing, in where you're going. You know, if you don't believe in you, if you don't bet on you, who's going to bet on you? If you don't believe that you can go out there and achieve what you want out of life, who's going to believe that you can? Who's going to follow you if you don't believe you? Who's going to trust you if you don't trust you? You know, and that's what you have to do. In life, when you make a mistake, don't beat yourself down and say, man, I was so stupid for believing this. Man, I was so stupid for doing this. In all actual reality, you were not stupid. You just made a decision based upon an emotional decision, and you did not consider the consequences. Sometimes you can be so blinded by love that you don't even see the forest for the trees. And then you go into a situation head first and you dive in and you put everything into it. And then you realize, man, this person isn't who I thought they was. Or the same way, vice versa. Sometimes you make a decision to take a job, and then when you take that job, you realize, man, this job wasn't all cut out to what I thought it was going to be. But that's because you did not consider the consequences. You did not evaluate the job before you took it. You did not evaluate how hard the work was. You did not evaluate what it required for you to do that job in a successful manner. So that's why I say, don't be so smart, because every action has a consequence to it. You have to be able to realize what are your consequences in every decision that you make in life. And now you will be able to become that action taker and that decision maker that you deserve to be, and you will get what you deserve out of life. But you got to learn how to evaluate the consequences. And when you evaluate the consequences of every decision in life that you make, you do inventory. And what I mean by inventory, you consider, if I make this decision, what are the consequences? What is the good side to me making this decision on these consequences? And what are the bad sides to me making this decision upon these consequences? And then you weigh the two in between. And if the good outweighs the bad, then you make that decision. If the bad outweighs the good, then maybe that should tell you that you need to rethink that decision, or maybe you need to do some more research to see how those things turned out to be bad. What happened? What was the mistakes along the way that caused them to give them those bad reports, those bad numbers, those bad ratings? You have to consider the consequences in every situation that you make in this thing called life, because of the simple fact that you only got one life to live. And you want to live it to the fullest, and you want to be as successful as you possibly can. But it all revolves around one thing, and this is this right here: your mindset. 90% of everything that you do in life is mindset. Every decision that you make, every consequence that you think about, every roadblock that you encounter in life is all mindset. If you have a strong enough mindset to overcome the obstacles in your life, you can be whoever you want to be. You know why? Because God said in his word in the book of life, the promises of God is yes and amen. Yes, you can have it. Amen, it's already done. But you've got to believe that you can achieve it. And you got to conceive. Like I say all the time, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But you cannot conceive nothing and believe nothing and achieve nothing if you don't consider the consequences along the way that you have to go through on this road of building a second strand of income. What are the requirements? What do you have to give up? How uncomfortable do you have to be? And then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do this? Am I willing to make these sacrifices? See, a lot of people give up in life because they're not willing to make sacrifices. They give up in life on their dreams, their purpose, their goals, their visions, because they're not willing to make the sacrifices and get uncomfortable and do something that no one else has ever done, because you got to do things in a certain way if you want to be rich. If you don't want to be rich, then keep doing things the way you're doing it right now if you're not rich, and you never will be. But if you want to be rich, you got to do things in a certain way. And what I mean by doing things in a certain way, you got to do things different from the way that everybody else done it. You know, if a person is doing something in one way and this person is getting rich and you're doing the same business and you're not getting rich, that means you're not doing things in a certain way. That means you're not paying attention to what they're doing. In order for you to be successful, you got to hang around successful people. But that success flows within you, within your belief system and your mindset. If you don't have the mindset of being successful, you'll never be successful. If you don't have the mindset of believing in yourself, you'll never accomplish nothing on this earth, because your belief system is limited and you will never go above and beyond what you need to do to accomplish it. You will never get uncomfortable. You will never take a leap of faith. You will never be that risk taker so you can become that money maker, because your balance in your life of where you are, you're satisfied. And as soon as you get satisfied, you believe you have everything you need in life. And now you believe that there's no more room for nothing else. But I'm here to tell you, everybody in this journey of this thing called life can grow. Nobody is never too old to learn anything. So that's why I say, don't be so smart to where you think you know everything and you don't consider the consequences of the decisions that you make, and you can't take advice from people that is trying to help you along the way get to where you want to be. See, you've got to be the person that you want, that you chose to be, that you strive to be. Don't accept something that you don't want. If you don't want to keep working a 9 to 5, find out a way to create a second stream of income. Don't keep going up every day and complaining about how much you hate your job and you're not doing nothing to change it. Don't keep waking up every morning and talking about how much you hate your life and how fair life is not fair, and you're not doing nothing to change it. And you're sitting there and you're wallowing in your misery and you're saying life is not fair. Yes, of course, life isn't fair, but life is what you make out of it. You can make life fair. You can create life fair, but you got to realize, what are the consequences of every decision that I make on a daily basis? And if you're not willing to sacrifice and get uncomfortable and do some things you've never done, you'll never have what other people can't. What other people have never had, you'll never have it if you're not willing to do something you've never done, or what other people haven't never done. You'll never get what you want out of life. And that's what I'm saying to you this morning in my morning live wake up motivation. I'm here to motivate you to learn how to study the consequences in every decision before you make it. And what I mean by consequences, think about, if I make this decision, what are the roadblocks? What are the obstacles I'm going to face? And am I man enough or woman enough to face my fears head on and keep moving forward so I can achieve what I'm setting out to achieve? Or am I just going to make this decision and don't consider the consequences, and the first time a roadblock comes along, I'm going to quit? Because that's the easy way out. When things get hard and a person has not considered the consequences of what they have to go through, they quit. They give up. Why do they give up? You know why they give up? because they didn't consider the consequences along the way. They didn't consider the roadblocks that they had to go through, and now they wasn't ready. It's just like, I'll give you a perfect example. Now, say for instance, you're trying to learn how to play a particular sport, say basketball. Now, if you're trying to learn how to play basketball, you got to consider the consequences of basketball. So what are the consequences of basketball? Basketball is a physical sport. Basketball requires a lot of agility. Basketball requires you to be in shape. Basketball requires you to be dedicated. Basketball requires you to have the right mindset to be able to be successful in doing it. Now, those are the consequences. But if you don't consider those consequences and you try to go out there on that basketball court and you're out of shape, you're not going to perform good. If you try to go out there on that basketball court and you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to perform good. Okay, let's fast forward. In life, if you try to step into this journey of this thing called life and you're not prepared and you didn't consider the consequences, you're not going to get the results that you want out of whatever you're trying to achieve. You have to believe wholeheartedly in yourself that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But if you don't believe that, you can't achieve nothing. So that's what I'm saying to you. Always consider the consequences in every action and every decision that you make in life, so you can have the success that you want out of it. You cannot get the success out of life that you want when you don't consider where you're going. I'll say that again. You cannot get the success out of life that you want when you don't consider where you're going. Okay, Greg, what do you mean by that? When you don't consider where you're going, that means you did not consider the consequences of what could happen along the way. What are the obstacles? What are the roadblocks? What are the things that people are going to say? How am I going to feel about myself doing this? How dedicated am I going to be to this? All those things revolve around the consequences of you being able to be successful in life. And you have to realize, when it comes to life and it comes to building wealth or building whatever you're trying to do, or just creating change in your life, or just trying to change your mindset from a negative to a positive, you've got to be able to consider the consequences of what you have to do to reach that destination of wherever you're going. And then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do what it takes to get there? And that's what you have to do. Because if you're not willing to do what it takes to achieve what you want out of life, you'll never get it. That's just simple. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat, and I'm not going to tell you something that I don't want you to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And this is what you need to hear. Don't be so smart. Every action has a consequence to it. So you got to consider, when you make your next decision in life, when you want to step into your next journey in life, or whatever you're doing, whether it's creating a second strand of income, or whether it's developing a talent that you can get good at, or learning something that you can get good at, to where you will be able to live the lifestyle that you want and do the things that you do on your terms and not somebody else's. Always consider, what are the consequences that I have to encounter going down this road? And once you consider the consequences that you have to encounter going down this road, now you will make the decision based upon the consequences that you have to face. But if you don't know the consequences that you have to face, you can never make a decision according to your purpose, your dreams, your goals, your vision. Because you should be willing to do whatever it takes so you can live the lifestyle that you want. Nobody should live a lifestyle on this earth of poverty and light. You know why? Because the promises of God is yes and amen. Yes. Go out there and get it and make it happen. Amen. It's already done. You got to be able to believe in your subconscious mind way of thinking and create a picture of visualization that whatever task that you're trying to complete in life right now, it's already done. You're already living in that moment. You're already having that lifestyle of fun, freedom, and fulfillment. You're already living in that mansion that you want. You're already driving that Tesla car that you want. You already have more money in your bank account than you can spend. You have to learn how to use visualization to bring things into the virtual realm of reality through a virtual picture before it can come into the physical realm of reality. What do you mean by that, Greg? You know what I mean by that? Mindset. If you have the right mindset, which is your subconscious mindset, and you believe that you can have more and you can do more, you will receive more. And that's what I'm saying to you this morning in my morning live wake up motivation. So this morning, I have a call to action, and I'm going to talk to you about our Elevate 8 trading platform, because I really believe that everybody that puts their money in the bank should know how that they could grow their money as well, and not just keep it in the bank, under the 72% rule. And if you don't know what the 72% rule is, 72% of 4%, that means it takes you 18 years for your money to grow 4% of being in the bank. Now, let's talk about this trading Elevate 8. Now, what we do, you sign up as a student. You become a student. Our elite educators, we have 12 of the best, they teach you in online classes from the beginning stage of trading to the advanced stage of trading. If you show up for yourself and you participate in your own rescue, you can learn a skill that can never be taken away from you. And you can grow your money on a daily basis from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 100 to 700%. I believe that that's a skill that you should be interested in trying to find out about, because that's a way for you to grow your money and keep the banks from charging you interest on your own money, and your money being in the bank under the 72 to the 40% rule, and it takes you 18 years to grow a profit on your own money. What sense does that make when you can sign up as a student in our Elevate 8 program and learn a skill how you can trade your money in the Forex trading market and become a profitable trader and empower your life? And that's what I'm saying. That's what it's all about, empowering. You just think about this. You work a 9 to 5 each and every day, and you go to that 9 to 5 each and every day, right? But when you go to that 9 to 5, you have to wait till the end of 1 week or the end of 2 weeks. Think about this. You learn a skill to where in less than 15 minutes, you could make your whole weekly salary, weekly paycheck, or salary, whatever you're doing, or bi-weekly paycheck, 15 minutes, and that's something that you should want to look into. So I'm saying right now, if you're interested in our Elevate 8 trading program, and the good thing about you sign up as an ambassador, and once you sign up as an ambassador and say you know some other people that want to trade, you get paid $30 per every person that trades with you. But this is not a one-time fee to where you make this $30 and this $30 goes away. This is residual income. And if you don't know what residual income is, it's something that keeps on going and coming for the work that you did from ways back. So think about that. $30 per head. Just think if you knew 100 people right now that wanted to learn how to trade, you sign them up as a student, you just made you $3,000 extra a month to go inside your bank account. Now let me ask you this. How much would $3,000 every month coming into your bank account help you out financially? It's just that simple. And I know there's people out there that want to learn how to trade. And like I said, I want to say this to you. Maybe you've traded in the past and you didn't have no success. That's because you didn't have the right platform, you didn't have the right teachers, and you didn't understand what you was doing, or maybe you tried to learn how to trade without someone helping you. I'm here to tell you, we are making profits daily with our Elevate 8 program through our instructors. If you're interested, click the link at ZentsMakeSense.com, tap it in the chat, and I'll sit down and send that information over to you so you can get signed up and become a profitable trader in the Forex trading market. Because what do you have to lose? Why wouldn't you want to grow your money and not spend your money? Just imagine you go shopping, say, I'm going to say this for all the married people, husbands especially. We all know that our wife loves to shop. Now, how much happier would we be if our wife was in there spending $1,200 shopping, and we know she's going to estimate about spending $1,200 shopping, but while she's in there spending $1,200 shopping, I'm outside sitting in my car under AC trading, and I make $2,000 while she's in there. I made a profit, and I made back the money that she spent shopping. So it's something to think about. I just want you to really think about that and think about your position in life and where you want to go mentally, physically, and financially. But getting back to what I was saying, don't be so smart, because every action has a consequence to it. So always think before you act. That's what it boils down to. Because if you think before you act and you analyze a decision before you make it, now you've considered the consequences of it. I just want to say thank each and every one of you all for stopping by my morning live wake up motivation. And God bless you all. And do me a favor, like, comment, and share on this video, because I know that there's people out there that needs to hear these encouraging words that I put out here today to motivate you to live a better lifestyle and make better choices and decisions in life. Now, do me a favor, like, comment, and share on this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank each and every one of you all. God loves you, and so do I. And have a blessed day, and goodbye.